So Trump said the ceasefire is still on, and Iran said Allahu Akbar, I think. IRGC has seized 2 ships.
I did just speak with President Trump a short time ago, asked him a number of questions about what's going on with the Iran war, as well as what's happening in Mexico, and also about the Virginia elections. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. As I mentioned, I asked him about the attack by Iran and the seizure of 2 out of the 3 container ships in the strait that they confronted. His primary concern was that these are not—
Who owned these ships? This is a big deal.
U.S. ships, which obviously would take it to a very different level.
No, honestly, it doesn't really make that much of a difference because the U.S. price of oil is affected by global oil trade. So it doesn't really matter whether they're U.S. ships. It would have contributed to a decrease in the global price. They still took the ships. When this happened, just a couple hours ago, this was the preceding news. Iran fires on 3 ships in the Strait of Hormuz. The ceasefire is done. We're back on it now. We now have the previous situation where Iran is blockading the strait and then America is blockading like 100 miles south of the strait, basically.
Okay, so military planners from more than 30 countries are holding 2 days of meetings to strategize how to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Foreign correspondent Jeff Paul is reporting live for us now out of London. Jeff?
Yeah, Sandra, and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer says whatever is planned will be strictly peaceful and defensive and would only be put into action once the fighting ends. But until it does, the planning will continue as the European economy starts to show signs of fractures. And that is a huge part of the reason why this second summit on the Strait of Hormuz is taking place. Last week it was France. This week it's London, where officials hope to build off their progress. More than 30 nations and their military strategists are expected to attend the conference. Over the next 2 days,
if Iran's not at the conference, what difference does it make? We're out of option. Listen, okay, the futures market is going to continue to dribble spit on its chest and like for weeks or maybe even months from now. But I don't know what they're supposed to do. Oil prices are back up. We're not past 100 yet on WTI, but Brent is back over 100. I don't want to mislead anyone and say the futures market is done doing its bullshit, but I don't know how many more tricks we can play. Iran only allowed the ceasefire to continue for the full 2 weeks because they were operating in good faith. But the other day, they just straight up did not attend peace talks in Islamabad. Witkoff, Kushner, and J.D. Vance were supposed to go over there to negotiate more. Iran was like, nah, not really much of a point. We're not getting what we want here, and didn't even show up. So we didn't even leave. Like, they're not even negotiating with us, you know? Beast mode, yeah, for sure. But like, it's back up. Futures market will never get much over 100 as long as the U.S. and Japan have money to short the market. Well, hold your horses, bucko, because money's great and all. I was about to say money's great, but you can't burn it. You can, in fact, burn money, but the energy efficiency of burning cash in an engine is probably not up to snuff here compared to, you know, what we make with oil. We are running out, man. We already did a dispersion. Japan has, the United States has, the EU has. We've already done dispersions. If we do another one, which we might have to, the U.S. Petroleum Reserve will be empty. Jet fuel prices are still way the fuck up. We are not out of this, man. And it looks like everyone, like no one even know, like what do we do with the strait? They're holding a meeting to strategize how they open the strait. Iran has a suggestion. What if they controlled it? We've got a couple months before we're actually fucked. Kind of, sort of. Dispersions from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve don't happen immediately. And even if they did, our oil prices are still affected by global oil prices. So even if we have a reserve to hold on to, it does not change the fact that we will be paying more while waiting for that dispersion. And once we're out, man. I mean, once we're out, to quote Anakin Skywalker, this is where the fun begins. I think that might have actually been Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not entirely sure. It was Anakin? Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen it. Gulf states forced to shut in 9.1 million barrels per day in April as Hormuz stays blocked. Ooh. Collectively shut in 9.1 million barrels per day of crude oil production in April, up from 7.5 million barrels per day in March. So even more of their production is being shut down. That's huge. That means even during the 2-week period where there's been a very minimal exchange of fire, they're still engaging in the very costly practice of shutting down their oil extraction, which you don't want to do. The EIA protection assumes that the closure does not continue past April. Forecasting shut-ins will fall to approximately 7 million barrels per day in May and return to pre-conflict levels in late 2026 if the closure does not continue past April. Listen to that. If the closure does not continue past April, if it stops within the next week, we might return to near pre-conflict levels by the end of the year. If that assumption proves wrong and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz continues, damage to the Gulf production capacity could take years to reverse. The UAE is asking the United States for a bailout. And why not? Trump admin's considering financial bailout for the UAE over economic losses sustained from U.S. war with Iran. Okay, wait. This is actually a big deal. For one, very stupid. For two, big deal. If the Gulf states are getting to a point where they're demanding money from us, they wouldn't do this unless they had a threat to back it up, right? Like, they wouldn't just say, hey, U.S., give us money. What they're saying is, give us money or what? We're going to go with Iran? We're going to trade in yuan? We're not going to trade with you? What? What exactly? That's what I'm interested in. That's fucking crazy, man.
Work to hash out detailed military plans to secure freedom of navigation in the Strait and support a lasting ceasefire. And the clock is ticking, especially when it comes to the economy in Europe. The energy commissioner of the EU, Dan Jorgensen, says even in the best case scenario, the region will likely experience shortages in jet fuel and diesel fuel, impacting both travel and trade.
The UAE warns it'll start trading yuan. Oh, wait, they've actually said it? Oh, okay. I was just speculating when I said that one of the conditions that the UAE might be threatening is trading in yuan. They've just straight up said that. UAE officials reportedly warn they may be forced to use yuan or other currencies if they've run low in dollars. Okay, well, then there you go, I guess.
If this goes on for many months or even years, we're looking at a totally new world order and probably very, very severe economic consequences that goes far beyond only the energy sector, of course.
And Jorgensen says even if there was peace tomorrow, it would take a country like Qatar 2 years or more to rebuild its gas production. So he thinks no matter how positive the resolution is, this crisis will have an impact around the world for years to come. Sandra?
Got it. Jeff Paul, live out of London on that for us. Jeff, thank you. John?
All right, Sandra, let's bring in former CENTCOM commander, retired four-star General Joseph.
They can't sell oil in USD if they can't sell oil. Yep. I guess the idea of using the USD, the petrodollar might have been a bit of there might be some problems with that, you know? Besant has said many Gulf countries have asked the same thing. Ooh.
That the UAE is looking for a swap line. The war in Iran has already cost us dearly. In my view, it's been a huge mistake, made us less safe and a lot worse off. In addition to lives lost, we're talking about over $1 billion a day in taxpayer money. Overall, you expect to support it.
Senator, I would dispute much of what you earlier said and any linkages to this swap line. Many of our Gulf allies have requested swap lines. You would have just read about the UAE, and swap lines, whether it's from the Federal Reserve or the Treasury, are to maintain order in the dollar funding markets and to prevent the sale of the U.S. assets in a disorderly way. So the swap line would both benefit the UAE and the U.S. And as I said, numerous other countries, including some of our Asian allies, have also requested them.
I don't know why the fuck you would admit that. Blockade has supercharged Japanese influence in Southeast Asia. What was it? The co-prosperity sphere? Oh no, it's happening again. Gonna have to nuke Hiroshima again to stop their colonial ambitions. It starts with Japan offering $10 billion to support their Asian neighbors, and it ends with an invasion of Manchuria. Okay, I've seen it happen before. Blockade is winning. Soon it'll be global. Had a very good call this morning with the POTUS and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth about the way forward regarding the Iran conflict. I think the president's decision to leave the blockade in place is very smart. I not only expect this blockade to stay in place until Iran shows a commitment to change their ways, God, how far we've fallen, man. I expect this blockade to stay in place until Iran shows a commitment to change their ways. Iran, like, strangling the global oil market to death. And Lindsey Graham's like, well, until they learn their lesson, we're going to keep doing nothing. Trump's blockade collapses, Iranian ghost ships bypass U.S. Navy. Yeah. Yeah, man. Okay, this is ending up being about too many things, okay? So here's what we know right now. Oil prices are on their way back up. Brent crude has climbed back up above $100 a barrel. That's the global standard. All right? It's climbing back up, you know? Here's the month-long scope. We have to go up to a year, right? Here's what we were at before. Big spike up, then back down, now back up again. We're heading back up. The ceasefire is off. Iran's no longer abiding by it. The United States says they still are, but I don't really think that means anything. I don't know, like, it seems fake. The blockade's still in place, but Iranian ships are running it because there's only so many ships in the blockade. The U.S. only has so many ships in the blockade. Iran is back to holding the strait. They're also firing at and occupying vessels, which is crazy. And what's more, Secretary of the Navy just resigned. Just resigned. He's out. He's out of there. So, yeah, it's going well. It's going well. Everything's going according to plan. He really stuck his dick in the blender. Yeah, it's making my argument a little more tough that Kamala Harris would have done much the same thing when Trump fucks it up so spectacularly that nobody else could have done it quite like he did, you know? Like, I maintain my position that we'd be in the same general position if Kamala Harris had won, but I will admit, I think that Kamala Harris's hypothetical administration probably would have considered the possibility of Iran closing the strait before conducting any strikes. I think that they might have thought it through a little bit more. You know, I'm willing to give them that kind of credit. Great man theory. He's gonna confound political scientists for centuries to come, man. Could anyone else have fucked it up quite as well as him? Also, Iran has more military capabilities than we think. Yeah. Like, Iran has spent its military budget on drones and missiles. We spent our military budget on I don't know, enriching pedophiles. Like, the Pentagon has been a gigantic, you know, get rich quick scheme for MIC companies and their many backers doing R&D to build fake bullshit that we don't need, whereas Iran found a drone design they could produce a lot of cheaply, so they did. It's like you've like two, you know, you've got two competing countries and one of them spends $1 billion on like a hypothetical laser array, and the other one spends $1 billion buying Cold War era Soviet weaponry. Which do you think is going to win in the twerk-off? Probably the team with like 500 million Kalashnikovs, I'd be willing to bet, and not the person with the non-functional laser array. So embarrassing, man. U.S. has depleted nearly half of its key missile stockpiles in Iran war. Where our tax money goes to. 50% of our THAAD interceptors, 50% of our Patriot interceptors, 30% of our Tomahawks, 45% precision strike. Jesus Christ, man. You hear about these for decades, too. How long have Tomahawks and Patriots been a thing? You think that in your head, you're like, yeah, America's got like infinity of those, right? No, it turns out we had 5! Just 5 of them in the whole world. We had 5. It'd be like, it's like those things like, oh, M4s or whatever, you know, oh, we must have a lot. No, we had 2 the whole time. Abrams, we had 1 of those. We just had 1 Abrams. Just been taking pictures of it from different angles. We give it a new paint job every once in a while. Every time they develop a new line of Abrams, they make 1 of them, and that's what they take pictures of for the next, 42 months, and then they make the next one. We only have 1 nuke. We polish the fuck out of it. We have basically an unlimited number of guided drop munitions. Unlimited number until we don't anymore, Kowalski. No, I'm not saying that Iran is a peer to us, not even close. It's just that, like, look, man, for the past 100 years, there's been a lesson that we've had to learn time and time again, and it's that strategic bombing doesn't win you control over a country. It literally never has worked, ever. You know what it took to invade Germany? People. In Vietnam, strategic bombing didn't work, didn't secure us control. We lost. Even though we killed a lot of people, we still lost. Laos, Cambodia, did we stop the trade to the Viet Cong? Nope. No, we fucking didn't. Iran, everything. We lose and we lose. And it's so expensive. True, but Dresden was based. We did Dresden for the love of the game, and I'll defend that. but it did not get us Dresden. You win territory with men. Look at Russia. The whole eastern like third of Ukraine is like a cratered wasteland at this point, but it's no man's land. You can bomb all you want. It doesn't get you the territory. We have to learn this with Iran. Leaving aside the fact that Iran is like extremely populous and mountainous and just generally difficult to invade. Like, we have no plan here. There is not enough money in the world to sustain a bombing campaign against Iran indefinitely, and even if we could, it would not prevent them from holding the strait closed. The Pentagon shared it may take 6 months to clear mines out of the strait. I don't even know if there are mines in the strait. By the way, if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed for the next 6 months, like really does remain closed for the next 6 months, I know we like to make rice and beans jokes here, but like, for real, you should be... I'll say this much. You should look into buying a bicycle. Okay? You should look into buying a bicycle. 6 months is enough time, I think, to deplete our strategic reserve. March, April 2026. We don't know exactly how much of the dispersion has taken place. Okay, 120 days, 172 million barrels. So about 1.3 million barrels per day, give or take, which doesn't even come close to accounting for the gap in production. God, even with our strategic petroleum reserve, we're limited to dispersing 1.3 million a day. How much do we use a day? 1 second. USA oil use barrels. 2.7 million a day. Even dispersing our strategic reserve, we're only covering half. Wait, hold on. I misread. I'm sorry. I misread by a factor of 10. We consume around 20 million barrels of petroleum a day. I read 2, but there was another 0 in there. It's actually 20. Our strategic petroleum reserve dispersion is only taking care of like, I don't know, fucking 7 or 8% of our daily needs. Jesus Christ. You're saying go long on bicycle futures? You want to invest in companies building bicycle lanes? I'd say go for it. The U.S. is already a massive exporter of oil. Even if we dispersed more, what tanker could we put it on? I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, even so, even if we had enough oil, which we're not going to, it doesn't change the fact that the price will rise, you know? If the global market drives up the price of oil, we will be paying those higher prices because our companies still transact internationally. I just joined what's happening. We're doing math on how fucked we are. Yeah, I'm taking a look at the dispersion. I'm sorry. When was this published? Hold on 1 second. Oh no. This was published April 11th, 2025. This is an estimate of what our reserves are going to look like before the Iran war began. Oh, no. What this actually looks like, what this is inaccurately estimating, would be a dashed line that continued to level up to here and then plummets down to around here over the span of 4 months, 120 days for the dispersion that was authorized. We can't see? Oh, you can't see my mouse. It'd be like this. It'd be like chunk. It'd be like, rather than do-do-do-do-do, it'd be like chunk. And it's only going to go down from there. Nasty, nasty stuff. It takes so long to refill them. I mean, yeah, you don't want to refill it too quickly or you risk driving the price of oil up further because the government's consuming so much of it. All right, well, that's how it's going.